Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California. New Yorkers will tell you no, and in California, they don't know how to tell you no. So you'll talk to the person and say, yeah, let's work on this project together, it'd be fucking great, guy. And then next thing you know, the movie is actually shooting. Nobody called to tell you that you're not in the movie. Hey, what's up? This is 50 Cent, hanging with the Hollywood Reporter, and you're about to hear my Hollywood First. Well, the first movie I saw that made me want to make movies was Scarface. I watched the movie, it was exciting. It's one of those things where in urban culture, they would look at it and say, insert me here in the role that Pacino was playing in the film, but it's really about trust issues. But he developed trust issues through his whole journey, and it's one of those cool films because it was real human activity and behaviors and imperfections in it that made me relate to it. The first soundtrack I listened to was Superfly. It was Curtis Mayfield's soundtrack for Superfly. It's probably the best soundtrack made to a film, period. The first television show I watched over and over was Dukes of Hazzard. That was what Fast and Furious is now for these kids. That was my Fast and Furious back then. First time I acted, I was getting ready to get my ass whooped for my grandmother, and I was acting like I didn't do what she said I did. That was the first time, and I gave a great performance, and it spared me. The first time I stepped on a set was, it wasn't my video, it was someone else's music video. I was just there to see what was going on. It was react, it was with Onyx. What you got? The first time Curtis became 50 Cent was when, it's in the music. It's in the process of because you start to put your best foot forward first. Like when we meet people, they don't see your imperfections. They see what you're presenting, the best part of you. And through the music, I was doing that. Instinctively, we do it, all of us. The first time I attended a red carpet was, that was after Get Rich or Die Tryin. It was actually the award shows for that album. Well, Get Rich or Die Tryin was that. It was my story, and it was easy for me to put it together because I was in a camp that had already had the success at 8 Mile. I had Terry Winters. He went on to write The Sopranos and Wolf on Wall Street, like Jim Sheridan. You know, My Left Foot, Only in America. The first collaborator I worked with that I was most in sync with, it was easily for me to sync up with Mobb Deep. It were like, we could take the same track, go in 2 different rooms, and we would be writing things that fit if we put them onto a song. And it was because they had that, their music was Queens based. We could be not even hear what each other did, take it and put it together on the song, and it would match. First person I met that left me starstruck was, I've been starstruck a lot of times, cause there's certain people that was like big to me that didn't matter to other people, like Roger from What's Happening. I remember I ran into him, it's me, Wesley Snipes, Don Cheadle, and Roger from What's Happening. First time I spent a lot of money on something was my grandmother. When I did the deal with him this time, I had money before and it kind of got away from me. So as soon as I did the deal this time, the first thing I did was buy her car. And then my grandfather said he went to work, he worked hard, and your mama brainwashed my kids. Because I got her a car and I didn't get him a car, so I ended up going to get him a car. I took care of people who took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. And it was more valuable to me to be able to do that. Well, the first time I realized I could pursue things outside of music, you couldn't pursue things outside. The first time I realized that you couldn't pursue things outside of music, but there's a point that you have your career works in that way and entertainment looks at you that way. So you kind of got to stay in that box for a little while, and then it took time. It took for me not to release music for a while for people to even take the things that I was doing behind the camera serious. The first project that I took on that surprised everyone was Power. And it's because, you know, it's #1 in African American and Latino households for 10 years now, the series. It isn't losing any momentum. I was looking for a title that represented me overall, and it was for fragrance. Later, when it came time to name the series, I named it Power, but it could have been choices. Like that was the life choices. I've received bad reviews through my entire career. Like everything that I've done has received bad reviews. They wanted to be what they'd like it to be, hip hop culture, and The culture loves things that have been damaged or bruised by the experience. The first opportunity I turned down and I regret it, man, it was a Spanish woman I met. I can't believe I did that. I am so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know, I make a lot of mistakes. I just don't stick to them. I just don't carry them with me to feel like I regret them. Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California, specifically, because New Yorkers, will tell you no, and there's so many people on top of people that they'll just avoid you. Like, they don't even want your conversation, get away from you. You know, like you go to southern markets, they're like, hey, how you doing? Like that hospitality thing, it doesn't exist in New York the same. In California, they don't know how to tell you no. So you'll talk to the person and say, yeah, let's work on this project together, be fucking great, guy. And then next thing you know, the movie is actually shooting. Nobody called to tell you that you're not in the movie. But this is the truth. They don't want you to remember them as the person that they said no to when you could potentially be the next person. And then you hold it against them because they told you no. And I understand it, but I'll just say no when I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna say no. But I would say the first moment that you feel like you've accomplished something in Hollywood is a point that you haven't actually made it. You just got something going. So if you just have one, it's just one, bro. Like, you have to have consistency for it to mean something, you know? All right? Thanks for listening to my Hollywood First. Catch you later. Hollywood Reporter.